Hello, my friends, hello, and welcome once again to the thrilling Vaughn Manor, where it's time for Halls of Adventure once again. Yes, Halls of Adventure, where Roger and myself will go through all of the books that have magically appeared here at the Manor since the last time we did this. And it's been a couple weeks since we've done this. It's been a couple weeks, right? It seems like it's been a while. Anyway, in all that time, not a single comic book has shown up here at the Manor, which seems insane. How come we're not getting as many comic books as we used to? No answer, this guy. The rest of the time, he never shuts up. Then he gets on video, he won't say a word. It's strange. Okay, but we did get some other books here at the Manor, starting with The Scene and the Unseen by Richard Marsh. So The Seen and the Unseen by Richard Marsh. I've never actually seen a physical copy of this, so I was pretty excited when I found this paperback, which was published by Valancourt. It was published by Valancourt, yeah, back in 2007 they did this. The Seen and the Unseen. Richard Marsh was the writer of the sensational novel The Beetle, which caused such a stir in 1897. And The Beetle is still in print, and you can go and read that book because it's a heck of a horror novel. I did a whole video on The Beetle. You should watch that video because it's a masterpiece, like all my videos are. They're not, but yeah, I did a video on The Beetle. But this is The Seen and the Unseen, which is a collection of short stories that was released in 1900. And this was also a sensation. So, yeah, I was pretty excited to find a physical copy of this book by Richard Marsh. That's going to be fun to read. So, yeah, that's the first thing I've got to show you. I've got some other stuff. Now, this next book, I absolutely have no real excuse for getting this because this is one of my 100 favorite books of all time, and I already did a video on it because I got a fancy pants edition of it over here. And you know, when I do those 100 favorite book videos, I'm like, I'm just gonna keep this edition and not get any others, and I'll get rid of all the others, and it never works out that way. So I actually got another edition of this, but it's beautiful. It is The Shrinking Man. Look at that. Now, this is actually the edition of The Shrinking Man that I've been looking for a long, long time because I love that cover, The Shrinking Man by Richard Matheson. One of my favorite books, like I said, of all time. And I've been looking for this particular edition of it because I really think it's great. And I finally found one that's in good shape, and it was a good deal. I got this for like $4, so that's a good deal. Look at that little guy and that giant spider. Oh, The Shrinking Man. What tough times he had. This was a great book, The Shrinking Man. And so now I have this cool paperback edition that I didn't need, and yet I wanted it, so now I have it. Yeah, that's how it goes over here at the Vaughn Manor. So I got something else, and this is perfect for the current reading event that's going on. Garbogust, CriminOlly's reading event, Garbogust. And I am a co-host of Garbogust. And I got this. This is Thongor of Lemuria. Thongor of Lemuria by Lynn Carter. Yes, Lynn Carter. Fantastic fantasy author, Lynn Carter. Not exactly, but yeah, Thongor of Lemuria. Look at how great that cover is. Thongor fighting off those apes. Now, I don't remember if The Wizard of Lemuria came out before this or if this came out before that. I think this might be the second book in the series. I don't remember. If anyone knows, remind me. Let me know which of those masterpieces came out first. But this looks perfect for the second week of Garbogust, so I'm pretty sure I'm going to be reading this probably at that time. We'll see. This next book, I'm looking for all of these books. This is Escape from the Planet of the Apes, the novelization of Escape from the Planet of the Apes. A movie that when I saw it as a small child completely traumatized me because of the horrific violent ending. The ending of this movie, I mean, I watched this as a little kid and I loved it, and then the end, and there was like, I was shell-shocked. I was literally traumatized. I loved all these Planet of the Apes movies, but this one nearly did me in. And every time it would come on television, of course, I'd watch it. And that ending would just get me every time. It still does. It still does. Escape from the Planet of the Apes. Great movie. It's a great movie. And I wanted to I already have this novelization in the Planet of the Apes Omnibus #1. But I want to get all of the original movie tie-in versions. I want to get this and all the other Planet of the Apes books that came out when the films did. So yeah, Escape from Planet of the Apes. Of course I got that book. Of course I did. So this next one is really cool. This is Paul Anderson's The Broken Sword. The Broken Sword. Look at these little dudes in the background. Damn it, we broke the sword. I don't think that's what happened, but look at this guy. He's like, what the hell is going on back there, little dudes? And then you got this Gollum-looking guy like, oh man, gonna be trouble now. So The Broken Sword by Paul Anderson. This is actually from the Ballantine fantasy series that was edited by Lynn Carter. And I think the introduction for this volume was by Thongor's own Lynn Carter. So, you know, kind of cool that I have both of these books in this haul. The Broken Sword is generally considered to be better than anything Lynn Carter wrote, but I've got them both, and I was happy to get this edition because I just think that's really cool. Now, I got a couple books by Alan Dean Foster. Alan Dean Foster is, of course, known as the king of novelizations. He will novelize anything. I mean, you give him a project, he'll just like, yes. He just says yes before you even hand him the project. And the cool thing about Alan Dean Foster is if he novelizes something, he almost always makes it at least as good as the movie, if not better. He famously did the novelization of Star Wars, and he did a great job on that. He did a novelization of the last Star Wars film, actually, and I haven't read that. I really didn't like that movie, but I should read that because Alan Dean Foster wrote it. But I decided to get a couple Alan Dean Foster books that were not novelizations. And one of the books I've got is Blood Hype by Alan Dean Foster. The Continuing Adventures of Flinks and His Mighty Mini-Drag Pip. So I'm assuming this is either the second or third in the series. I don't know. But I got Blood Hype, so I can read this one. It's pretty cool. Some interesting things are going on the cover of Blood Hype. Was the most dangerous drug in the galaxy. Blood Hype was the most dangerous drug in the galaxy. It was a killer. It says so on the back. So, you know, a novel about the most dangerous drug in the galaxy. And this next one, I believe, was the beginning of a trilogy, if I'm remembering correctly, although I've never read it. This is Ice Rigger by Alan Dean Foster. I was pretty happy to find this as well. Look at all those strange dudes there on the cover of Ice Rigger. So yeah, this is cool. This is probably the one I'm going to read before I read Blood Hype. I'll probably read Ice Rigger. And if it's really good, I will get the other books in the series. So this is cool. Now, on top of being Garbogist, there is another reading event that kind of goes right along with Garbogist, actually, and that is Book Trek 2022, an event created by Vin at Revenant Reads to read Star Trek novels, Star Trek books related to Star Trek. And so I got a Star Trek book, which also counts as a Garbogist book, and that would be Vulcan by Kathleen Sky, a new Star Trek experience. So this was one of the earlier Star Trek books. And I've noticed that in the early Star Trek books, a lot of them have a lot to do with Mr. Spock. Because Mr. Spock, I guess, was the most popular character on Star Trek, obviously, I guess. And so I was looking through, and some of the earlier books were Spock Messiah, which I hear is terrible. Spock Must Die by James Blish. And then we've got this one, Vulcan, by Kathleen Sky, who I've never heard of. Did Kathleen Sky write anything else? I don't remember that name, Kathleen Sky, but she wrote Vulcan, so here it is, where they're menaced by a bunch of ants. So I don't know if they've been shrunk tiny like the Shrinking Man, or if these are just giant ants. They're probably giant ants. Probably. I'll find out when I read Vulcan by Kathleen Sky, which I'm going to do for... This will probably be my book trek book this month. Probably. I'm guessing that's what that's going to be. Now, this next thing was really, really cool. I was really happy to find this. This is Adam Link, Robot by Indo Binder. Now, I don't know how to pronounce Indo's name. I don't know if it's Indo or Ando. I have no idea. Some of you will know, so let me know how to pronounce that name because I mispronounce everything. But I've been looking for this book, Adam Link Robot, forever. And I've been looking for it since I was a teenager. When I read this comic book, this is Weird Science Fantasy. This is Weird Science Fantasy number 5. Or a reprint. It's a reprint. It's not an original Weird Science Fantasy. Look at that awesome cover, though. Damn, that's so cool. Anyway, in this issue of Weird Science Fantasy, the last story in this comic is a story called I, Robot. I, Robot. Adapted from the original Adam Link story by Indo Binder. And I remember looking at that, and I'm like, I, Robot, now wasn't that Isaac Asimov? What's going on? Well, it turns out, before Isaac Asimov put out his book, I, Robot was actually used as a story title by Indo Binder. And it was one of these Adam Link stories, apparently. And so I've been looking for a copy of the Adam Link stories ever since I read this. This is actually a really good comic book story. This comic book story was excellent. Who did this? Joe Orlando? Yeah, Joe Orlando did this comic book story. And so I've been looking for this book forever. I finally found it. He's got a dog with him. That's always a good sign. But I've never read this, and so I'm really looking forward to reading this. Adam Link Robot by Indo Binder or Iando Binder or Ando Binder. I have no idea. Let me know. So I don't destroy that name any more than I already did. There's a couple more here. I always save the best stuff for last. And I've got a couple really cool things here. First one I've got to show you is obviously for Garbogust. That is the novelization for the film The Bride, which I watched over and over again when it was on, was it on HBO? Back when cable had like an actual box that was like attached to a cord that was attached to your TV and had all these buttons on the box. Back in those days on cable, this movie was shown over and over again. I don't even remember how old I was when I was watching this film. But The Bride, a novelization by Vonda N. McIntyre. And what makes this extra cool is that it is a signed copy. A signed copy of the novelization of The Bride, signed by Vonda N. McIntyre. So cool. How cool is that? That's pretty cool. Now you'd think, man, Mike, you can't top that. Oh, yes, you can. Because last week I went to San Francisco with the lady of the manor and our Swiss friends who were here. And I found something amazing. Something I've been looking for a long, long time, but I've been looking for it in decent shape. And I finally found it in perfect condition. And that is this book, Edgar Rice Burroughs' The Man Who Created Tarzan by Erwin Porges. This is the ultimate book on Edgar Rice Burroughs. It's amazing. I read it as a teenager in the San Leandro Library. I don't know if the San Leandro Library still has a copy of this book, but it was pretty beat up, but I loved it. And this book is amazing. I mean, if you're interested in Edgar Rice Burroughs, this book is full of photos of Edgar Rice Burroughs. I mean, it's got a ton of photos, ton of illustrations here, a lot of pictures that you just won't find anywhere else. I mean, it's just so much cool stuff. Got some artwork from some of the British editions of Edgar Rice Burroughs novels. So this book, yeah, this is the ultimate Edgar Rice Burroughs book, and I've been looking for, like I said, a nice copy of this forever. And I got this for cheap. It was 20 bucks. How do you sell this for 20 bucks? And it's in perfect condition. And it's even got a nice plastic cover on it. It's amazing. This is so cool. Yeah. This is pretty cool. Yeah. Edgar Rice Burroughs. So, yeah, this was the ultimate thing that I got. You know, I'm a huge fan of Edgar Rice Burroughs' work. I love Edgar Rice Burroughs novels and books, and so I just get them. I've got like a ton of them. And so, yeah, of course I got this, and I was pretty damn happy to get it too. So yeah, Edgar Rice Burroughs, the man who created Tarzan, this is the greatest thing I've gotten for a long time. So there you go, another thrilling haul of adventure, all wrapped up. Okay, guys, I will catch you next time.